Have fun in comments, lads. Right, so typically I like to look in the comments on my videos, typically especially in the first 13 minutes to an hour, because I just kind of like replying back to people and getting your guys' initial thoughts and feelings and things, and then it usually gets a bit insane. So I think I may leave that for this one. So I'm going away tomorrow, and I wanted to do a video which I felt like would be simple to do, and I've not done for quite a long time. So I'm on tier maker here. So but we're back to the good old days here. So I felt like giving a bit of a review on my ranking of the entirety of the 92. So I'll be ranking clubs based on club size and kind of relevancy and just typical massiveness in general. So I'm sure this will lead to no disputes. Now, hear me out here. I need to put some teams in less places. Like, that is just a fact. I can't put every team in massive. I'm so sorry. That defeats the entire purpose. So some teams may have to go in the bottom level here. Now, granted, I am a Burnley fan. I will clarify that. So I spent most of my life in Championship and Premier League. So I don't know an awful lot about teams. A good amount in League One, but probably not like enough in League Two to really give much of an opinion. So if you do support a League Two club, no, I do apologise. I've got some knowledge, of course, but I'm sure there's more that I could know. I am not God. I don't know everything, believe it or not. It's just my own opinion. And comment yours down below in terms of what you guys think. Or just call me an idiot. I think I'm going to leave out the comments for this one. So let's begin. There you go. So we've got elite, massive, big, average, small, and TINPOT, right? So I'm just going to go through this and just kind of waffle it through. And hopefully you guys find it somewhat intriguing. So go get your food. Usually you guys seem to watch me when I'm having when you're having your food or whatever. So let's just do that, okay? So let's crack on. Let's start off with the biggest club of all, Barnsley. So Barnsley, it's just a perfectly average size football club. Usually in Championship or League One, has a little bit of history, but typically a predominantly perfect level for an average size club. Now, by the way, I will say, in terms of the tiers, in terms of like which club is more to the left side or more to the right side, I wouldn't look too much into it. It's just whether I put them in, that's the tier that they're in. It's not like, if I put like, let's say, I don't know, like, let's say Blackpool, and like they're like ahead of Barnsley. That doesn't mean that I think Barnsley are smaller than Blackpool, because if we do it like that, I'd be here forever. So they're both an average, and as simple as that. And also Blackpool are also an average. So let's keep it like that. So there you go. So let's crack on. Let's go with Birmingham City. Of course, they're definitely a big club, not a massive club, but a big club, and that may surprise some people, but really it shouldn't. They've got a very good fan base, and they've also got a pretty good away following. Yes, they're right now in League One, but I do like to think that they are, for me, a big club. Of course, they've not won too much in their history, like trophies-wise. But when I'm looking at teams that I'll be putting an average here, I would say Birmingham City definitely has much more about them. So they're in big for me, simple as that. Let's go down a little bit more here. Let's go look at the likes of, let's say, a Gillingham. Gillingham, again, I don't know much about them. I wouldn't want to say they're in TINPOT. I wouldn't say many clubs are in TINPOT, really, other than, like, MK Dons. So no offense. So Gillingham would be in small, and I think that, will you complain? No. Well, you will anyway if you're a Gillingham fan, but sorry. So let's crack on to the likes of go down here, Newport County. I mean, some may say they could be maybe put in TINPOT. I'll be honest with you. Like, some may say they could be put in there. I mean, I think I may actually put them in there, to be fair. Honestly, I really don't know enough about them to really warrant much, but I don't think I've ever really noticed them at all, ever. Even with their couple of years, in League Two in recent years, I still can't name you much about them other than I think they played United last year in the Cup. Genuinely, I can't tell you much about them. So, yeah, Newport County, I do apologise, boys. Let's go for Coventry City. Now, there's a weird part of me that kind of wants to put them in the big. I don't know why. Like, there's a part of it that I really want to put them in there because I feel like they've got potential to be a big club. I think they've got they've got the platform where I think they can be, but I just don't think they've done enough to warrant being in there, and also they've not been in the top flight of English football for God knows how long. So I mean, they have been, of course, in like the 90s or so, but I don't think they've been in there enough to warrant being in big. But I think they can be. I mean, what's a big club? You know, like that's the thing. Like, what is a big club to you? And there's differences. And as opposed to me, I kind of want to put them in big. I don't know why. Like, okay, look, I'm going to base it on this, right? They've got a goddamn elephant on their badge. They're in big. There you go. Simple as that. Let's crack on to the likes of Cambridge United. They're in small. Simple as that. Carlisle United. They're in small. Simple as that, but people love an away day there. Charlton. They're in definitely average. Definitely not in big, but they're definitely an average-sized club. Can be big club, maybe, to some people's opinions. I don't think so, though. So, average. Colchester, definitely in small. Cheltenham, definitely in small. Crewe, definitely in small. Crawley, definitely in small. I mean, like, I don't even know what's a TINPOT club to me? Okay, where's MK Dons? There you go. Okay, TINPOT, there you go. Where's Forest Green? There you go, TINPOT. There's not many more TINPOT clubs. I mean, you know what? I think I'm being harsh in Newport County. Like, Barrow. I put Barrow in. It was like, I think Barrow is just, like, by its standard, not a football league club. Like, they're like a non-league club to me. What else is like a non-league club to me? If I'm having like a quick little gander here, I think there's one more maybe. Like there's like Salford, of course, rose through the ranks in recent years, and like I still think they're a bit tin-potty though. I like there's something about Salford that just it feels like an AI generated football club. That's just the way I feel. It feels like it's AI generated. So like Salford for me, it's just a bit tin-pot for me. I'll be honest with you. Any other clubs here that, I mean, like, for example, like Sutton, right? Yeah, there you go, Sutton. Sutton, sorry, but like they had a great run in the cups, like, you know, a few years back, but like they're still like they're a non-league football club, like in terms of how I would look at them. They're not a football league club. So like maybe that's why I kind of see Newport County in TINPOT, because I still think, just to me, that I still see them as if they're like a non-league club. And that's just me. I don't know your entire history. That's just the way I look at it. Like, for example, let's say Stockport County. Stockport County, for me, is an average-sized football club. Now, that may confuse you or whatever. I rate them. I rate them actually quite a lot. I rate their history. I rate their attendances. I think they're a solid football club to Stockport County. They're definitely an average for me. Not small, definitely not big. I'm sure I still somehow will get Stockport County fans having to go on me for saying this, but definitely not big. But more than reasonable to be put in average for me, personally. Anyway, like Tranmere Rovers as well. You know what? I got this weird thing about Tranmere Rovers. I don't know why. I just do. I just think they could be put in average. I have no reason why, other than the fact that I just have this weird thing towards Tranmere Rovers, and I feel like they could be an average. And then I think about it, and I think no, they're in small. Sorry, boys. So let's crack on. Let's go to like Morecambe. They got a shrimp on their badge. That's all I know about them. Morecambe, they're in small. I'm sorry, boys. Let's go. Harrogate. Harrogate, TINPOT for me. Like Harrogate, Barrow, Sutton. You know, like to me, I still see them as like, you know, non-league football clubs. So that's kind of like where I would put TINPOT. Like small or like clubs that are always typically League Two football clubs. Maybe they can gander a bit into League One a bit, but typically League Two football clubs I'll put in small, and then some League One as well. Typically. So, is there any clubs that's not in League One, like a team in the Championship, I would put in small? I don't think so. Like, let's say that, you know, like Plymouth, right? Plymouth, definitely average. Definitely average. By the way, to clarify, if I put, like, Plymouth behind Stockport County, that doesn't mean that I think Stockport County is bigger than Plymouth. It just means that I think they're both an average. So, just clarifying that for the second time. Anyone else here? I mean, there's, like, have a little look here. Any other teams here that I think can put in TINPOT? I don't think so. I mean, you know what? Yeah, Fleetwood Town. Fleetwood Town, I would also put in TINPOT too. I don't even know how many years they've been down in League Two or whatever, but I put Fleetwood Town. I see them like kind of like a Newport County, where like they're just kind of there, and I don't know really anything about them. And like I've actually been to Fleetwood Town for a friendly, and like I've been to their stadium and all. And, like, yeah, I mean, there's even, like, Burton. Burton I would also want to put in TINPOT. but I feel like they've got a bit more about them than like Fleetwood Town. So I'll put them in small, but like I still kind of see them as just kind of like a club that just exists. And like they're just there, and there's just not much more that I really know about them. Like Leyton Orient, right? I put Leyton Orient in average. I put Orient in average, me. Just kind of what I know about them, how I feel about them, my kind of gut feeling. I'll say they're above that kind of small category. I don't know why. I just do. I just see them that way. Don't blame me. A team that I also think is definitely an average is like a Bradford City. Definitely, I think is an average. I think that's more than reasonable. If you disagree, sorry, but not sorry. Aki Stanley, I mean, it is small, and it's predominantly known for milk advert. And of course, around our area, I'm from Burnley, there's like Burnley, Blackburn, Preston, I guess you maybe adding Bolton in there, and like Blackpool up the road. Like, Aki is like just in between Burnley and Blackburn, and like no one cares. Like, Aki is just a team that is always around us, but no one pays like any attention to them. And it's kind of cute. Like, when there's like an international break, you'd find that most Burnley fans, when they want to go see the footy, they just go to the Aki game if they're at home. And like, they're there, they're cute, but they're always there, at least in Football League. So they're definitely small, but they're cute. Okay, that's the way I see Aki. Wimbledon. I mean, historically, AFC Wimbledon is average, right? I wouldn't say they're big, but they did win the FA Cup, like, you know, before the, you know, issues. So I still wouldn't put them as a big club, though. You know, I don't know. Because of their history as well, I think I'll keep them an average. But, yeah, Wimbledon I put there. Donny's in... Dare I say Donny's an average? I don't know. Is Donny an average? I don't really know enough, but I think I can't really put them in the same levels as some other clubs in that. I'll put them in small. Donny. But there's something about their badge that is really, like, appealing to me. I can't explain it. Grimsby. I don't know my feelings for this, but they're an average. Now, my knowledge of Grimsby Town is that they've got a chant, which is literally just called Fish. Fish. And like, that's what I know. And for that alone, they're an average. If you got a chant, literally just you chanting fish, you're a big football club, as far as I'm concerned. So, there you go. Bristol Rovers, again, no reason behind this. I'm putting them an average. Their badge is literally like a pirate, right? Like, I just find their vibe cool. I just do, right? I'm putting Bristol Rovers an average. No reason why, other than the fact that I think they're kind of their vibe and aesthetic is kind of cool. So, the more you know. I've not put any teams in massive here. Can I put some teams in massive? I guess I can. I'll put 2 or 3, right? So, massive is like Nottingham Forest. I'm putting Nottingham Forest in massive here. Or am I? Look, mate, they've won a Champions League. Like, they've won 2. They've won 2 Champions Leagues. I like, realistically, I shouldn't, because like, I think they've only ever won 1 league title in their history. They've actually won more Champions Leagues than they have domestic titles. So in that, and they've won some FA Cups as well and that. But like, bro, they've won 2 Champions Leagues. Like, I kind of can't put them anywhere but massive. I really can't. Like, historically, like, for the entire history, probably in big. But they won 2 Champions Leagues, bro. And they were, like, a massive part in, like, European football for that, like, for those years under Clough. So, they're massive. I'm sorry. Like, you can't win 2 Champions Leagues and then not be a massive, as far as I'm concerned. No matter the rest of your history, it's just ridiculous. So, there you go. Another team in massive... Well, massive is definitely Leeds. Leeds is not elite, but Leeds is a massive. That's not a doubt in my mind. I know people may complain about the fact they've not won like all too much, like they've not won a Champions League, but Leeds are Leeds. Every single club knows Leeds. Every single fan base loves to play Leeds. And almost every single club has a chant involving like we all hate Leeds scum. I've been to Burnley games against another club that's not Leeds, and us both fan bases chanting we all hate Leeds scum. I've been to games where that's happened countless times. Leeds are massive. That's not a doubt in my mind. Because, like, everyone knows them, everyone loves to play them, everyone loves to hate them, and they know it. And they're crazy. And you know what? They probably hate themselves. And I wouldn't blame them either. So, Leeds, not even a doubt, they're massive for me. Like, another team massive before I move on. looking through here. I just got the West Ham are massive like chant in my head. I mean, look, in terms of honours in their history, like West Ham definitely, they've not won as much as you would expect. And, they have spent some years in, like, the 2000s or so in the Championship. Like, they've not been particularly a great club, like, to what you think they should be, considering, their location, their fan base, and everything around them. So, realistically, but I can't really put West Ham in the same category as Coventry City, can I? I don't know if I can. Like, I know they've literally got a chance, which is literally West Ham are massive everywhere we go. I put it a massive, but I'm still think there's still some leeway in a conversation. It can maybe just be put in big, but West Ham are massive everywhere we go. So there you go. Anyone else say that's a massive? Well, of course, Sunderland are a massive, and in that same vein, Newcastle is also a massive. I wouldn't say... Okay, so in this conversation, let's say this conversation here, this is very popular. Let's say Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Everton. That's a very common conversation you hear a lot in terms of like who's bigger. Like Leeds, Newcastle, Everton, Villa. Now for me personally, only one team here can be put in the elite. And it's a team with a Champions League trophy, and that's Aston Villa. In terms of Newcastle, Everton, Villa, Everton definitely has more domestic success in terms of league titles and FA Cups and that. In terms of attendances, you can kind of go back and forth for that for quite a while. You can maybe say that if it's Leeds for away following, or maybe Newcastle for like home attendances, whatever. But they're all very big, massive football clubs, all four of them. But if I had to pick one, for me, it's always Aston Villa. For me, it always will be. And then for second one, it will be Everton. And then between Leeds and Newcastle, I'll be using my personal bias of living in Newcastle. I'll put Newcastle ahead of Leeds. And that's kind of how I rank it. And I'll put like Forest up there as well. But then Leeds into a fan base is definitely bigger than Forest. But Forest won also 2 Champions Leagues. And there's also West Ham. So, okay, don't rank it based on like where they are. Okay, but in terms of that conversation of Villa, Everton, Newcastle, and Leeds, like Everton should be probably an elite because of how like historically dominant they were and their relevancy to the English game. They should be put in elite, but they've been so god awful for God knows how long here that I feel a way about it. Sunderland just belongs to be in massive and not big for me. If you don't think that's the case, then look up, like read a book or something. Of course they are. So okay, teams in big. So big clubs, Blackburn. Okay, I'm a Burnley fan. But I'm not going to be stupid, right? Blackburn's a big football club. Of course they are. They won the Premier League back in 95. They've got a good history. They've also got, well, maybe not these days, a good fan base, but, they used to be. So, Rovers, yeah, they're big. Sure thing. Not an issue. And then I guess in that case, I don't care what you guys say. I'm putting Burnley in big too. If I'm putting Coventry City in big, I'm putting Burnley in big. Again, Burnley, we've won league titles, we've won FA Cups. We've also been in the first division for about 55-60% of our entire history. Like in terms of like where Burnley have historically been in, we've usually always been in top flight of English football for more than we haven't. And we've also won trophies as well. So and also in terms of recent years as well, we've always been in the Premier League for the last decade. So, instead of modern times, historically, we've always been up there in Premier League. Does that make you a big club? Probably not, but that's the way I see it. So, Burnley, I don't care. They're in big. So, who else is there that's in big? Looking through here. Okay. This could be a tough one. In terms of like a West Brom, like where would I put West Brom? I think West Brom is like a sort of divide between like the massive and the big. Like they're a big club. They're not a massive club. And then there's Wolves. And Wolves, I would say, oh God, this is like a derby. So like between West Brom and Wolves, in terms of who I would think is probably a bigger club, of course, recency bias will be a massive part of this, I feel like. So... But even with that, I swear Wolves hasn't beat West Brom for a while until they played each other last season in the Cup. And that was a big, big win for them away to Hawthorns. So in terms of Wolves and West Brom, I'll probably give it to Wolves. I think I would. But I don't know the historical context of it too much. I used to. And I would say it was very, very even. And it's kind of just flip a coin and kind of what you feel like. But Wolves, they played in European football much more recently, been a lot more relevant in terms of like success and that, been to like FA Cup semi-finals and that. I'll say Wolves are a bit bigger right now, but that's more based on recency bias than anything else. So, but I think Wolves is like a good indicator between the gap between massive and big. I think that's fair to say. So, Bournemouth. Again, Bournemouth, never mind their recent years, very cool and all, they're still average. They were small, in their first couple of years. Now they've done well for themselves. They got a lot of money now. I still wouldn't put them as a big club. I've been to Bournemouth away, 4 times now as a Burnley fan. Like, they're still like an average sized football club. Like, I'm sorry. And like, I've seen their away flowing as well. It's still average. I'm sorry. So yeah. Reading. Is Reading a big club? I mean, definitely not these days. I mean, they were in Prem for a bit, but I still seems a bit like an average sized football club, really. They had some good years, but they're like a Charlton. I kind of see Reading like a Charlton almost, I think. And like, I don't know if the potential was there, like a Coventry has potential. But like Coventry, I think the Coventry one is throwing me off, but it's more based on like the potential of them more than anything else. So Bristol City, they're definitely in big. Oh, are they actually? Actually, I don't think they are, but because I've got Coventry there, can I really put them ahead of... I am. Yeah, I'm putting Bristol City in average. I think I have to. I can't put them in big. I mean, they've got a decent sized following, I feel like. But does that make them big? Have they won much in their history? Like, you got to win at least something, right, to be put in big. And I don't think they've won much. Like, I kind of want to check, but I kind of want to go to the floor of the video. So I want to go off kind of my own gut feeling, then like spend like 5 minutes researching each club, which kind of defeats the purpose of this type of video. So Bristol City, sure, average, just based on my feeling. Crystal Palace, I would have probably put them in average at some stage, but now I won't take the piss. I will put them in big. They are in big. They are. In terms of who's bigger between Burnley and Palace, I remember I had a debate about this like on Twitter in the summer because I was bored, and I would like to say Burnley are probably bigger, but I don't think it really matters. But yeah, they're definitely big for me. I think I would have said average before, so if you know about that, then you should be grateful because I've put you guys before in like average, so deal with it. Okay, Ipswich, they're in big. Definitely, they won some sort of European trophy. They won the UEFA Cup, didn't they? They won the UEFA Cup, some European trophies. Again, by the way, in terms of where the clubs are, in terms of the tiers, I've tried to keep it kind of like a sort of like in order, but don't pay absolute too clinical attention to that, right? So, yeah, Ipswich, I'll put them up there, absolutely. So, yeah. Who else? We might as well do Norwich as well. Norwich, because we're doing Ipswich. Norwich, again, for me, it's a big club. They have very, very good attendances. Like, this is a home following. They always sell out. They're always in the top flight or championship. They're kind of similar to a Burnley in that regards, in terms of like where they usually are placed in their history. Norwich, they're always decently up there, and they've got a good following and fan base as well. So yeah, they're a big club for me, Norwich. I don't care what anyone says. Hull. Recency helps a lot in terms of what they've done in the Prem. I still kind of see them as average derby. I like Hull because I really like the colour scheme. I think it's really cool. I like the orange and the tiger and it's cool and everything, right? But yeah, average. Let's go to Brighton. Again, Brighton, I probably would have said Brighton probably is an average, but like I kind of can't say that anymore. Again, like they've done very good for themselves. They've beat Ajax in Amsterdam recently. They're top of the Europa League, and I can't put them in average, really, can I? So they've done well for themselves. They've now put themselves up to big for me. Even though historically they probably don't deserve to be in big, I think they've done too good for the last recent years that it kind of just dictates kind of how you feel. And like, are they a big club? Well, I mean, their away following could be maybe a bit better and all, but they still got a good fan base at home and all. So yeah, I put them in big for me. That's the way I see it. Brentford, I still see them as average. I'm sorry. I like Brentford. They just need They need a bit more, a few more years in Prem, and like one, like, I don't know. They need some more vibes. They need some more vibes about them. Like a good cup run or something, like into the semi-finals or a final, like a Palace, to be into the big for me. Like, I still see Brentford as like an average-sized club. I'm sorry, that's just the way I see them personally. Sorry. Leicester City, I mean, they're in big, yeah. Not a massive, they're in big. In terms of where they're in big, I mean, you know, they won the Prem and they've had a lot of good recent success, so they've done well for themselves. But historically and all that, yeah, big, I think, is safe for them. Luton Town, I still think they're average as well. I wouldn't put Luton Town in big. I'm sorry. I wouldn't, right? Like, if you're a Luton Town fan and you're, like, offended by this, then, like, don't forget that you spent the entire time, like, the entire 2 years saying about how small of a club you are in terms of how, like, your rise from the non-league to Premier League in terms of your story and everything. That's gone into admin and all that. Keep that in mind. That's literally been your talking point for the last 2 years about how good your story is, that you were a non-league League 2 football club. When you were historically a club that was on the top level and you were playing, you won an FA Cup not too long ago, didn't you? So, again, got to be big. It probably can be. But again, you may say possibly also Charlton could be maybe as well. I still see Luton as average. So, there you go. Cardiff's in big. They're in big. They are. I'm sorry. And then Swansea, I mean, if I was to say who's bigger, Cardiff or Swansea, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Oh, that is a bad one. Now, who's bigger between Cardiff and Swansea? I mean, historically, I'll lean more towards Swansea, but that's completely recency bias. The historical in terms of honours, I still feel like it's quite even between these two. I dare say that Cardiff is like leading them, but I don't know for sure. In terms of my gut feeling, who do I think is the bigger club between Cardiff City and Swansea City? I would probably lean towards Cardiff. I can already hear the Swansea fans unsubscribing from my channel. I'll put you guys both in big, okay? Shut up, but I'll say Cardiff leans ahead of you guys. In the same way that I would between Ipswich and Norwich, I will lean more towards Ipswich than Norwich as well. That's my thoughts on that kind of derby right there. Okay, Middlesbrough's in big. I don't care when it says Middlesbrough's a big club. I've seen their fan base. It's a very good fan base. They're also absolutely mental as well. And I think they'll be happy with the big shout as well. Because they are a big club. They are. So, Borough, they're in big. Fulham, they're in big. I don't care. Fulham's in big. And that's mainly because I love their away days. Have you seen a Fulham away day, mate? I want to live a life where I have a Fulham away day. It'd be the best day of my life. I can't wait for it. Like cheese and wine and stuff, mate. I want to be a Fulham fan for like a month and just experience it because it looks great. So Fulham, the big club for me, especially the Fulham like cheese board. It's a great look. So I'll put them in big. Bolton, Fogden. Okay, gotta think this one through. I don't want Fogdad to ever call me again. Look, I can't have Coventry in big and not have Bolton in big, can I? But is Bolton a big club? Yeah, they are. Okay, I'll stop joking. They're in big, but they're in the bottom end of it if there is a level of big. So, Fogdad, don't shout at me, okay? Christ almighty. Derby County, they're in big. Derby County's in big. There's no issue with that with me. Derby County, up the Rams, there you go. Huddersfield Town is in average, and Exeter City is in, dare I say they're in average too? I don't know. My kind of general gut feeling is I say Exeter is in average, and I don't really know why. I don't know much more about them, but I think the badge is kind of cool. So, yeah, sure, I'll go with average. Why not? So, Swindon Town, I would say they're in small, really. Stevenage, again, small. Rotherham, they're an average. They're just always in Championship and League One forever for the rest of eternity. You always see them at the end of the year in some sort of like relegation scrap. on Sky Sports or in a playoff final in League One. So that's just kind of Rotherham and how they live life. I think right now they're doing pretty poor right now in League One, so bad timing I know, but that's just kind of their existence. So they're an average for me. So, okay, Lincoln City. I'm putting them in average. I don't care. They've got a goddamn imp as their badge. And because they kind of ruined my life as well when they beat Burnley in the FA Cup. 5th round, wasn't it? I was there. Rajit, wasn't it? I was there. That video is also on my channel too, and I was there at the game. So for that reason alone, I kind of respect them. So yeah, Lincoln, average. Notts County. I mean, I can't put Notts County in big. I can't put them in big, but historically, I want to give them their flowers. So I'll put them probably higher up than most people would. So I'll put them like in that kind of tier. Notts County. If you don't know, then get to know them. Okay? Good football club. Sheffield United or Sheffield Wednesday. Both are big clubs. Both are big clubs. Not a doubt in my mind. That's not a problem. In terms of where they are, they're high up there somewhere. I don't know where exactly where would it be, but they'd be high up there. In terms of who's bigger, again, they're very similar. They're very similar in terms of fan base, in terms of like honours, and that there's not too much to separate. So it's just kind of based on your kind of general all-around feeling towards the clubs and kind of what you know about the fan bases and everything. And from my memory, I'm going to go for the Blades. I go for the Blades. I was literally at Sheffield Wednesday last weekend as well. They're both good, proper fan bases, solid football clubs. But if I had to pick one or the other, I may go Sheffield United, but that's possibly more because of nostalgia, from a recency bias. So there you go. QPR is in average, kind of in that sort of like Charlton level. I'm sorry, but they are. Just the way I feel. Southampton, they're in big. Southampton absolutely are in big. Again, always in the kind of top flight of like your top flight of football. They're at the top level here towards like, the Leicester's or Derby's or whatever. They're a good, proper football club. Pompey as well. I put Pompey also in big. In terms of who's bigger between Pompey and Saints, I'll probably say more. I don't like this one actually because like there's more of a history behind it. If I had to pick now in terms of fan base and everything, I kind of want to lean more towards. I'm looking pure at fan bases here. I'd probably go more towards Pompey, but recency it's more Saints. Like they literally played at San Siro not too long ago in the Europa League, so it's like I kind of want to say Saints, and they've been like in finals and things. Southampton as well, League Cup final. So like, I want to say Saints really, but there's something about Pompey fans that I just respect, as well as Southampton. But I don't know. There's something about Pompey. I don't know, man. It's just the way it is. Okay, we got Mansfield Town. You got a stag as their badge. Small, that's fine. Northampton Town, Cobblers and everything. Small, that's fine by me. I don't think there's any more teams that I'll put in TINPOT. Port Vale is a weird club that, again, just exists, but I know someone who's a Port Vale fan, and he will shout at me. So there you go. Oxford United. I mean, they're still in small for me. They're literally missing one stand at a stadium. So sorry, boys. Preston. Preston have the original Invincibles. They're in big. They're in big for me, Preston. I don't know. Maybe because I know many more P&E fans and like they're around like the local area. So like in terms of like what I know about Preston, I know a lot more than maybe these other clubs. But yeah, Preston for me, I'll put into big. In the low end of it, but they're in big for me. So Peterborough, they're an average. No issue with Peterborough. Stoke City, they're in big, but on like the low tier down here. There you go. In terms of Millwall, I mean, like, everyone just knows Millwall because of Green Street and that, like, but, like, are they a big club? They're not a big club, really, are they? They're just a comfortable Championship, League One club. They dabbled a bit in Europe because of, I think they were runners-up in, like, a FA Cup, but they're still, like, an average-sized club. But they're like, around, like, the Luton area, whatever. Shrewsbury Town's in small. Warsaw's in small. Wrexham, I guess now they're an average, aren't they? I mean, some may say they're now in big, but let's not take the piss here. So they're an average. And then there's Wycombe Wanderers. Is that a swan in their badge or something? I like the colour scheme. I find it cool, but it's still small. Watford isn't big. Watford isn't big. I don't care. Wigan, they're in big. Up the ticks, come on. Wigan's in big. I don't care. Now we're down to the top 6, right? So in terms of top 6, let's rank these. So in terms of the smallest of these top 6, I think you know what the answer to that one is. So is Spurs an elite club? No, they're not. The last time they were champions of England was the year after Burnley were also champions of England. So the last time Spurs were champions of England, it was the same time Burnley was, pretty much, 1961, because Burnley won it in 1960. Of course, a lot of FA Cups, even some European success, but we can't ignore the last 2-3 decades. And you may say, yeah, but Villa's not won anything too, but they've also won a goddamn Champions League. They're massive. They're not elite. I can't say they're an elite. I just can't. Right? I just can't do it. Next up, so in terms of the 5th biggest club here, would I say Villa are behind any all these? I say I must have to. Yeah, I do. So, okay, the 5th biggest club here, I'll just go with my heart. It's still City. City, they're bigger than Villa now. Obviously, they've won the Champions League and they've done the treble. So it's like, they should be higher up. But like, from my own heart to hearts, still a no. 5th is Chelsea. I still put Chelsea behind Arsenal. Arsenal will be 3rd for me into the biggest clubs in England. And then when it comes to between Liverpool and United, in my own personal and honest opinion, despite you'll always see between Liverpool and United, it's always Liverpool is the European side and United is always the domestic side. But in terms of the biggest clubs in the world, I would say that it's absolutely without a doubt Manchester United. So it'll be Liverpool 2nd and United top. I mean, every single person in the world, United fans are like rats. Like, you're never further than 2 meters away from one. Like, that's the way it is. Like, you will meet so many more United fans in your life than any other club. Even in England, you go anywhere in England, you could be in Hull, you could be in London, you could be in Plymouth, you could be in Burnley, you could be in Ireland. You could just be anywhere in the UK and Ireland or whatever, and like, you will definitely meet a United fan. You may meet less Liverpool and Arsenal and Chelsea, and probably less City as well. But that is rising. So there you go. That is my waffling session in terms of size of clubs. If I kind of zoomed out here, this is my kind of general list here. Is there any logic to this? Not really. And if you disagree, then I don't really care, because I can't please you all. It's impossible for me to please everyone. Like, would I make a change if I was here for like half an hour, like researching? I'm sure I may change some things, but this is purely based on the way I feel, just by what I see when I look at the football club, right? So, like, Exeter City probably should be an average. Like, they probably shouldn't be, right? So I may put them there if I was to really think about it. Like, should Bristol Rovers be? Probably not, but they've got like a pirate vibe, and I like that, and no one else has that. So I like pirates, they're cool. So I'm easy. So there you go. That is my ranking of 92. By the time you see this, I will be in Italy, so that'd be fun. So yeah, don't kill me in the comments. I say that, but you're going to do it anyway. So enjoy your day, boys. Cheers.